So this is by far not a earth-shattering story by any means, but I do enjoy any opportunity I get to make fun of Nikki embryos or babies Haley. And here we go. Nikki Haley says she is voting for Trump for president. Former Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley has said she plans to vote for Donald Trump, her former opponent and boss, in the 2024 presidential election. Excuse me. Miss Haley, who once served as Mr. Trump's United Nations ambassador, was the last of his major rivals to drop out of the party primary contest in early March. At the time, she did not endorse him, but urged him to earn the votes of the millions who had supported her. On Wednesday, in her first public remarks since leaving the race, she said Mr. Trump, quote, has not been perfect, unquote, but that President Joe Biden, quote, has been a disaster, has been a catastrophe, unquote. Anti-Trump Republican votes largely coalesced behind Ms. Haley's presidential bid earlier this year, and her dormant candidacy is still picking up support more than 2 months after she left the race. She won more than 20% of the vote in at least 2 state primary elections over the past fortnight. The Biden campaign is seeking to woo these Haley Republicans, a mix of moderate and college-educated independent votes, who could help swing the election towards the Democrats. Mr. Biden argued that Mr. Trump has repeatedly, quote, made it clear he doesn't want, unquote, voters who supported her. Mr. Trump, who has mocked his ex-cabinet member as, quote, bird brain, unquote, was angered by her prolonged primary challenge and recently shot down rumors that she was under consideration to be his vice presidential running mate. Speaking on Wednesday during a gathering at the conservative Hudson Institute think tank in Washington, D.C., Ms. Haley has maintained the criticism of both parties she made in her campaign, but she reserves her strongest words for the incumbent. Mr. Biden, she said, oversaw a, quote, debacle in Afghanistan, did nothing to tether the invasion, unquote, of Ukraine, and recently, quote, threw Israel to the wolves, unquote. As a voter, I put my priority on a president who's going to have the backs of our allies and hold our enemies to account, who would secure the border, and who would support capitalism and freedom, and who understands we need less debt, not more debt, she said. Trump has not been perfect on these policies, but Biden has been a catastrophe, so I will be voting for Trump. Well, so as no surprise, Nikki Haley has no spine. Nikki Haley has no principles. Nikki Haley bends the knee whenever, the God, King, Lord, Savior, Donald Trump is concerned. Saying some mean things about him here and there on the campaign trail, because, that's what you do on the campaign trail. But when push comes to shove, she's like, nah, I'm with this guy. I support him. He's my kind of president. This is just sad. This whole state of affairs is sad. The level at which Republicans have kowtowed to Donald Trump, who has sort of been nothing but trouble for them from the beginning, is legitimately insane to me. And it's depressing. And of course, she throws off, particularly idiotic complaints about Joe Biden. The debacle in Afghanistan. The people ripped Biden to shreds for that one, even though he got us out of Afghanistan. We were in Afghanistan indefinitely, and people, U.S. planners, thought we should be there indefinitely because they knew the moment we leave, Taliban's going to take over. Now that was actually one of the legitimately good things. He's done some good, more than a few good things actually, but that's one of the good things Biden actually did as president. he decreased our military presence overseas. Again, which is a good thing. We didn't need to stay in Afghanistan indefinitely, but of course, that didn't cross people's minds for some reason. Did nothing to deter the invasion of Ukraine. Interesting. I mean, we've been sending a good amount of aid to Ukraine. What more do you want us to do? You want us to put troops on the ground? Like, what? Want us to go to war with Russia? Like what's your goal here? Again, Biden sent a lot of aid to Ukraine. And through Israel to the wolves, Joe Biden has supported Israel all the way. I mean, yes, recently he has been more critical rhetorically of Israel, of Netanyahu. But again, we're giving a lot of aid to Israel. We're supporting Israel. We're preventing, or we're standing in the way of Palestinian statehood. Joe Biden just came out and was criticizing the prosecutors' goals at the ICC to get arrest warrants for Benjamin Netanyahu outrageous. He said what's going on is not a genocide. He's alienating his own voters. Biden is with his support of Israel. He's doing a damn good job at trying to prevent himself from winning in November because he's hitched his wagon with Israel. So these are just stupid criticisms. What would you expect against Nikki Haley? Oh yeah, border. Like everyone's Republicans have been crying about border for God knows how long. What else? Supports capitalism and freedom. Understands we need less. Yeah, that's that, not more. Yeah, I mean, these are just standard Republican talking points, Cut the deficit. Can't spend a lot of money. You got to believe in that freedom. You got to believe in free market capitalism. I mean, none of this is like new. This is nothing new for a Republican to say. But it's absolutely bonkers that Haley would think that Donald Trump is, that Biden is a catastrophe, whereas Trump is just not perfect. He's not been great on some things, but Biden is a catastrophe. No. It's facing what, like 91 criminal charges? You're hitching the wagon for Nikki Haley's hitching her wagon to someone who's probably going to be a convicted felon in the next, couple years, maybe even a year. No shot that all those 91 criminal charges are going to go poof, goodbye. And of course, Republicans used to be like, and I mean, Kyle Kulinski has made this point. Oh, tough on crime. Got to be tough on crime. You can't have a felon running for president. Can't have a felon in the White House. Oh, really? But you want this felon, this soon-to-be felon, in the White House? Interesting. No. Donald Trump is not at all better than Joe Biden. In fact, I think his Israeli policy would be worse. I mean, Donald Trump has literally talked about cracking down on pro-Palestinian protesters. He's literally implied, yeah, just shut down their speech. Like Who cares about free speech? We need to stop these protesters. No, Donald Trump is an authoritarian madman. He's a narcissistic, egomaniacal, spiteful man baby with terrible, terrible, terrible political views. Why hitch your wagon to him? Why? It doesn't make any sense, and it hasn't made any sense for years. And I don't even know why this triggers me so much, because I should be getting used to this kind of thing by now. But like everything's topsy-turvy. Whatever the Republicans said, 10 years ago, they'll say the complete opposite when it comes to Donald Trump. They don't think when it comes to Donald Trump. It is anything goes when it comes to Donald Trump. They'll defend him against anything. They'll try to claim he's better than Biden on every single point, when again, he's not. This is Nikki Haley. You're sad. You're pathetic. You're embarrassing yourself. Your whole party is embarrassing itself. You're causing this whole country to embarrass itself. Just keep sticking to Donald Trump. I beg of the Republican Party, keep doing it. I want to see what happens, because I'm pretty darn sure it's not going to go over well for the Republican Party. I think he is bringing on the death throes of the Republican Party. So it seems to me. But here the Republicans, they keep on keeping along. Like, this is actually a good idea for them. Like Trump is actually a die-in-the-wool conservative who cares about these issues, and like he's actually going to do their bidding. Now, I suppose maybe some of them are, playing this Machiavellian 4D chess kind of game where they think, well, okay, if Trump gets in office, then, more or less it's going to be authoritarian rule from here on out. And then, we can institute our Christian fascist theocracy through this man baby. But I wouldn't hold my breath that Trump will actually get in the White House in November. So Nikki Haley and Republican and the Republican, this is to the Nikki Haley and the entire Republican Party. Stop. Just stop. Quit while you're ahead. Give up on Trump, but you won't, because your head is so far up your own ass.